Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the day three sessions. Today we are going to discuss about decision making. Okay, decision making means like whenever the condition have been provided, based on the condition, the program execution is going to be just changed. So before starting to this, let us have a quick recap of our yesterday's session. We have been just gone through the various operators. It can be arithmetic operators, it can be logical, bitwise, or it can be any kinds of other membership operator, identity operators. So these are all the operators which have been just available in Python. I guess you have been just remember all those things. So let me just jump to this decision making. So this it is going to check the condition while executing the program and takes the action in accordance with the condition. So this is called as a decision making. In simple words, see, like whenever the condition have been provided, based on this condition, the next program execution is going to be controlled. So the examples is like whenever the specific path have been provided for reaching the destination. So during those reaching the destinations, if any kinds of hill stations coming into picture, so during that time we need to take a diversion based on the conditions. So this is called as a decision making. So this is going to happen in day-to-day life as well as in a machine programming, or it can be any sorts of other C programming and all. So in Python also we'll be having if conditions, if else, nested if else. It can be loopings, while loop, for loop, do while. So these are all the decision makers which have been available. So in the today's session, we are going to just see about if. So this decision making is going to evaluate on multiple expression and just provides either true or false as an output after evaluating the expression. So user need to decide which statements need to be executed if the condition is true. And again, it is user dependent. So the statement execution is user dependent. So if it is false, you need to execute some of other statements. If it is true, some of before statements need to be executed, and this is left to the user. So the machine will just give whether it is true or false after evaluating some kinds of expressions, or it can be some kinds of conditions. So this is the main thing. The user need to decide the statements. Okay, let me just go to the taking a pen here. So let me just give a syntax. Okay, before giving the syntax, let me just brush up this one. So this one you will be knowing for having checking any of a condition. This is a symbol we are using in any type of a programming language. So here you will be checking a condition. So whenever the checking the conditions, you will be having only two options. One is true, another one is false. If the condition is true, you are going to execute the true statements. So if it is false, you are going to execute the false statements. So after executing this, it is going to for an next execution, or the program may end. So this is a respective schematic version. So you are having some of a condition. True, false is going to be just checked. So let me just say the syntax of if. So if you are going to give some expressions here. So after writing the expression, you need to write colon operator, or you need to just type colon. So 2 points, or technically it is called as a colon. So after writing a colon, your program should be written by giving one tab. You cannot write the true expression just below the if only. So you can just print some of our values here, saying that it is true. So this is an syntax for if. So as I've been told that you need to give one tab. If one tab is not given, you have been insisted this printing at this line itself, then it, irrespective of this checking of a condition, this printing is going to happen if you are not giving this tab. So this tab says to the compiler that whatever you are writing in this format after giving one tab, how many lines you are writing here, so those lines are true statements. So this is a one very big important thing you need to understand in Python language. So in a C language you will be having flower brackets. So here instead of flower brackets, what are all the sentences you are writing with one tab? So that is going to be considered as a true statements. I guess it is a clear-cut version here. So this is a syntax. So if you are having any kinds of a problem after seeing this example, you will be just clearing your all of the doubts. Okay, let me open PyCharm software. Sorry, this is IDE. So here one thing is clear, you need to write with one tab. So with one tab, what all the things are there? That is true statements. Okay, I guess it takes some 1 minute I guess to load that software. Okay, as usual, we need to take a new program here. That is a new editor, scratch file. Okay, new scratch file, you can go for Python. So you can rename this file name. Okay, the indexing is going to happen. You need to wait for this fulfilling of this index before renaming the file. Okay, here we are starting with the if decision makers. Okay, I guess indexing has been happened, so we can rename it to our day 3 with if, and you are going to reflect this. Okay, so then let me just take a values here. First we are going to assign a value. Assign a value 50 to variable b if the condition, if the b content is greater than 10, print as true. That's all. Okay, so if, okay, here the problem statement is like you need a variable b and you need to give some value, and you are checking that value is greater than 10 or not. Okay, you have been assigned some value and you are checking whether this value is greater than 10, and you are writing a colon operator. So by default the Python will give with one tab. So you are printing it as true statements. So let me tell what happens if you are not giving this tab. You are writing outside the tab. So it is saying that not in if loop. So irrespective of a condition, it will print. Okay, let me just show here. So irrespective of checking a condition, it is going to print a value. See, now the condition is true, that's why it is printing that it is true. So let me just give that it is less than 10. So now B is not less than 10. So it should not print this statement saying that it is true. But irrespective of a condition, it will print not in if condition. I'm just running this. So you can just see that the condition is not true, hence it is not entering to the fifth line. So without checking any of a condition, it will execute the rest of the lines if you are not including it in the tab. See, like if I am including it in a tab, then this will also not get printed. See here. So this is what the programming style actually means in Python. So this is same as a square brackets here in C. It was the same condition, but here we are not going to use a brackets. We are just pushing with one tab. That's it. I guess you have been got this concept. This is a syntax. The syntax is too much simple. If condition. So if is a keyword and here is a condition. And after condition you need to give colon. And you are saying that print true. So whichever the things you have been writing by giving one tab. So these are all the true statements. So the next comes okay, let me maximize this and let me just go for having a pen. So the next one is like if is going to operate in two forms in a Python. So the first form is like which are all the numbers in the condition if it is non-zero and so if it is non-zero or non-null value. So if it is non-zero or non-null, so it is going to be considered as true condition. If it is 0 or a null value, if it is a null value or 0 value, then it is considered as a false. So this is a thing you need to just do with. So first one is if the variable is holding a value is non-zero and non-null value, then it is considered as a true statement. If a variable is holding 0 or null value, then it is going to be considered as a false statement. So the next thing is like based on the condition. If the condition is true, then it is going to execute the true statements. If the condition is false, then it is going to execute the false statement. Let me just show this two types of coding using the if condition. So both are one and the same, but some conditions are going to be just varied. Our programming skill is going to be varied. So now I am going to take a variable a as 45. So this is non-zero or non-null value. Now I am taking the variable b as 0. Okay, I am just writing if a. If a is true, print a value is non-zero. So this is one kind of a programming. So now you are printing If this condition is true, you need to print that B is 0. Okay, I need to print some sentence. It can be any of the sentences, but this sentence won't print it what you are writing here. Why? Because this B is 0 value. If it is a 0 value, then it is false condition. If it is false, the compiler doesn't enters here and hence it doesn't print a sentence. Let me just check it out here. Okay, so this condition is false, it is not printing true. So this condition is true. Why? Because see, the only difference here is I am not giving any condition. I am just checking whether true or false based on the non-zero and non-null value. So print a value is non-zero if this condition is true. So now this condition is true. A is non-zero value. A is having a non-zero value. But whereas B is having a 0 value. So hence this condition is false. So it doesn't print any of our sentences. So this is one type of a coding. So the next type of a coding is like if A using conditions, what we have been just seen here, whether A is greater than 0. If A is greater than 0, you can print like this. So as we seen in the previous thing. So if B equals to 0, then you need to print sentences. So B is not equal to 0, the condition will become false and this statement is not going to be executed. Okay, the thing is same, both the condition works same as usual, but the style of writing will differ. First one is like using a variables, that is binary decisions, true or false, based on non-zero and non-null, then it is true. If the value content, variable content is 0 or null value, then this condition will be false. So these are the two types of a coding in NVFlow. So it is based on the user or you, how you are going to just do coding skills. It's up to you. So that's it. So next we are having types. So first we have been just seen a if based on the boolean expression or false true, that is null or non-null value, it is going to have a decision making. Okay, first one is like, okay, I'm going to take a pen. Okay, first one is if statements. So this is a type. So this is a type 1. So based on the boolean expression. So based on boolean expressions, you are going to make a decision. So the same thing, you will be having some of our conditions here. So the conditions will be like, if your condition is true, it will execute a true statements. If a condition is false, it is going to be just forwarded. So this is like if condition syntax. If the condition is true, then only it will perform some of a task. If it is false, it is irrelevant. It is not going to do anything on this because it is only if statement. So the syntax is like if condition, that is a equals to 10. If it is true, then you can print it as true. That's all. You are not going to do any kind of a stuff here. Next type is like if else condition. So this is another type of a looping or a decision making which have been available in an Python. If the condition is false, so in the previous session the disadvantage was like if the condition is false there will be not executing any of the statements, but whereas in this type we are having a if condition. So if some of a expression, after writing a if expression, if it is true you are going to execute some lines here. So after giving one tab, if the condition is false, irrespective of checking any of other condition, you are going to execute these lines. So the condition is like if the condition is true and false, if here the false condition and here the true condition. If the condition is true, you are going to have some true expression. If the condition is false, then also without checking any condition, you are going to execute some false expression. That is, if the condition is false, you need to execute these expressions. So later you can end, or this program will be going for another flow. So this is like if else. So if expression, you are going to write some statements here, else without checking any of other condition. If this condition is false, then it will execute these statements. So this is called as an if else. Okay, let me see the example, or let me just quote an example so that it will be too much convincing for you. If you are having any doubts, it will be just get cleared here. Sorry. Now I am taking a value of a as 59 and I am checking whether this a content is greater than 50. If this condition is true, print the stored value of a is more than or greater than 50. Now if that condition is false, you need to print the value of a is less than 50. So here the thing, you can just see whether the stored value of a is more than 50. So this is like checking a condition. If the condition is true, it will display some of a true expression. If the condition is false, let us see another condition here. So it should execute the false statements. That is, the value of a is less than 50. So this is all about a if else condition. So before going to a next thing, let me just give you some of another statements like how to take an input. Oh, I guess you have been looked on this, how to take an input from a keyboard. So instead of storing a value, we can directly give a function. You can use a function called input to take an value from the keyboard. Later you can check this. Okay, the condition is a is greater than 10. So now the compiler will be waiting for giving an input to the input from an user. So I am giving it as 20. So the condition is true. The answer should be like the stored value in the a. This is Okay, the data type conversion, we can take this as an integer. So as I told you earlier, the input will take as a string in Python 3. In Python 2, it will take as an number if you are not giving inside the quotes. If you are giving inside the quotes, then it is going to consider it as a string. But now it is a Python 3.7 we are working. So now we are just converting whatever you are returning into an integer data type. Okay, then we can just give a value saying that it is a 20. So now the stored value is more than 50, or what you are given here. So that is more than 10 or less than 10. So now you can just see with run command. So now you can give the values with less than 10. So the false statement is going to be executed. So this option have been not available in an only if. In only if only true, then it will execute. If it is false, it doesn't do anything. But here, if it is false, then it will execute the false statements as well. So this is another advantage of using if else. So here we have been used a type conversion or data type conversion from string to integer. So here we are getting a string as an input from a keyboard that will be converted to an integer, and it has been stored in A, and we are checking whether this A is greater than 10. So that's it. So the next thing is like the next I am just giving one of a problem statement and I am just solving it. So the problem statement is like if you need to prepare a software for billing system of discount if the bill amount is 1000 rupees. So give 10% discount if the bill amount is more than 1000. So this is a problem statement. So now you need to decide how many variables needed for programming. So how to write a code for this? How to write a code is like, first thing is decide how many variables you need. Decide how many variables. And as of now we are using if condition, or else in which condition the program needs to be executed you need to think of. So now you need one variable to store the user input or a bill amount. Next, you need to store the result, discount value. So you need two variables. So you have been decided how many variables and what is the result you need to just store with. So first variable is like bill amount. So it will be in an integer as of now, or else you can take a floating point also, 99.9 or something like this. What you are doing, taking an input from an customer. Enter the bill amount. Now you are checking whether this bill is greater than 1000. If it is greater than 1000, you need to make a discount. So discount will be bill into 0.05, that is 5%. Else the discount will be bill into 10%, that is 0.10. Okay, so okay, I've forgotten to write colon here. So later you are going to write the discount provided is, what you are doing is bill minus this. You will be getting a discount or a final bill. You can write customer need to pay. Pays. Okay, now what is this floating means? The input what you are taking, that will be converted to a floating data type. Okay, it is waiting for an input. I am writing 995.5. Okay, invalid in for an int. What is this? Oh, it is taking the earlier version. I have been just got confused. Okay, let me stop this execution and let me rewrite this. So it is asking a value for A. This is a previous one. Okay, 2. Now the program is starting. Enter the bill value 9955.5. So the customer need to pay this much of amount, that is 5% after discounting, and this is a bill amount need to be paid by the customer. So you can just see the other condition, that is greater than 1000. So greater than 1000 is 1100.5. So the 10% discount it is. So this is what this is going to happen. So what is this float means? So this will convert the string which have been entered by you into floating integer, and it has been stored in bit. And you are going to check whether that amount is greater than 1000. If it is greater than 1000, you need to give 5%, or else you are going to give 10%. Okay, this is as per the program execution. So after this, you are going to print, you need to pay bill minus discount. Oh, the condition is false here. The bill value is less than 1000. Okay, my problem statement was like 5% if the bill amount is less than 1000. Okay, that's all. That's the thing. Understand and write the things. So for this 5%, if it is greater than 1000, it is 10%. So after payment of a bill, it is bill minus discount. So this is if else. So this is what the problem statement was, to prepare a software for billing system. 5% discount if the bill amount is less than 1000. If it is more than 1000, the bill amount will be discounted by 10%. So the steps is like decide how many variables it is, 2 variables, and which condition it is. So the next one is like nested if. Let me take a pen here. So nested means this is a if condition. After checking a if condition, if the condition is true, it enters here. After condition is true, if you are having too many conditions need to be checked, again you can use if else over here. If this primary condition is false, it will come to else part. So after the else part also, after getting false also, if you need to check any number of false statements, then you are going to have some numerous values. So if condition is true, you will be entering here. Again you can use if and again expressions here, and again you can go for else, and again if the primary condition is only false, then you can go for else here, and again you can go for if and else part like this. So this is called as an nested if else. Okay, we were discussing about nested if else. So that is like say like if you are going to college, that is a condition. If you go to college, you need to go to library, you need to go to canteen. If you've gone to library, what you need to do? If you've gone to the canteen, what you are going to take? So this is called nested. So if you're going to college, one condition. If you're not going to college, what you are going to do in a home? So what is the work? What is the assignment? What is the classes? So during the scenarios, we are going to make use of nested if else. So that is like there will be one condition. So I am taking a condition like the number is divisible by 2 or not. If that is divisible, check whether the same number is divisible by 3 or not. If it is divisible by both, print the given number is divisible by 2 and 3. If not, it is divisible by only by 2 but not by 3. Then you need to print that the number is divisible by 2 but not 3. If the given number, original number is not divisible by 2 itself, that is only the first condition becomes false. Like that, if you are not going to college, you need to stay in the home. So during this scenario, you need to check whether that number is divisible by 3. If it is divisible, you can just print divisible by 3. If not, you need to print that the given number is not divisible by 2 and 3. So this is a case. So first, I am going to take a number. That number should be integer. So enter the value. Check. So next, if number is divisible by 2. If it is divisible, the remainder will be 0. So that is what you are going to check here. If it is divisible by 2, again we need to check for whether the number is divisible by 3. If it is divisible, here for bottoms. If this is divisible, you need to print entered number is divisible by both 2 and 3. Else. So these are the two conditions. Else you are checking whether the number is divisible by 3. Entered number is divisible by 3. Else you are printing entered number is not divisible by 2 or 3. So this is a funda. Why it is not coming like this? Let me see. Okay. The bracket was not given. Okay, the brackets were not given. Okay, these are the last execution values. Okay, enter the value need to be checked. Giving a number called 6, it is dividable by 2 and 3. So the entire number is divisible by both 2 and 3. So 6 is going to be entered, that will be stored in a variable called num. So its remainder is 0 as it is fully divisible by 2. So this will become true, it will come inside, it will check the 3 also, 3 will also divide the 6 successfully. So it should print a number called entered number is divisible by both 2 and 3. So entered number is divisible by both 2 and 3. So next we can just see the other case. Like it is not divisible by 2. So the number is divisible by 3. So like this, we can go for nested conditions. So this is for nested if else. Okay, this is another example to make you understand the clear-cut version of nested if else. So here they are having too many conditions. And there is another usage of this nested if else. There is no switch statement in Python. There is no switch statement like switch 1, 2, 3, default statement, case 1, case 2. That was another example of having a nested if else. So this programming language, Python, doesn't support switch statements. So instead of that, we are going to have this nested if else. So in the very first line, you can change the data type to float. See, like if a bill amount is like in a whole number, you can just change it. So the string will be converted into float, and this will be just stored in a variable called bill. If this bill is more than 3000, you need to give some discount amounts. In that, again, you are checking whether this, sorry, it is less than 3000. Here you can make it as greater than 3000. Okay. Let it be, it can be a 5000 itself. If it is less than 3000, and if the bill is less than 1000, the discount is 5%, or else the bill value will be discounted with 10%. So this is like inside a true statements, you are having again a if else. So nested if else, one after the other like this. So if this condition false, you will come to else, and again you are checking here if bill is greater than 5000. Consider like if our bill was being just more than 5000, then the discount will vary. If it is more than 5000, it is 20%, or else it is 15%. So like this, you can have the coding styles, and you can just check the respective coding methodologies. You can just practice several kinds of coding methodologies. So you can just see here. Okay, previous execution, enter the bill amount. Okay, value need to be checked. Okay, enter the bill value. Okay, let me just enter 2000. So 2000 should get 10% of bill payment. Oh, I have not printed here. Okay, at the last, we can print the customer need to pay the bill minus this. Okay, can just execute this again. Okay, the previous executions, enter the bill amount. Okay, enter the value need to be checked. Okay, so this is a nested if else example. So I am entering 2000 here. So you'll be getting the respective amount need to be paid by the customer. So like this, you can have some of executions, and you can just check by yourself with the if else conditions, with the nested if else conditions. Okay, I guess this will be enough for this day 3 session. The continuation of this if will be provided, that is if, else if, and nested if, else if, and how to assign a single line if statements, and with some of our examples. Thank you. Let us meet in the next video.